Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. I'm Chas Gayhart. It is 4:59 on Friday, May 26th. Let's go over and welcome Brandon back this morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. It's good to have you back.
Absolutely glad to be back, and been off for a couple of days, been to Cleveland and back, and so there you go. Back here this morning talking about Memorial Day weekend forecast, and again, not too bad to start us off this morning, but there could be some changes a little bit deeper into it. Let's talk about what's going on right now downtown Whitesburg first, and you see not a whole lot of action. A little cool out there this morning. I wore a light jacket to work. Didn't see a whole lot of fog on the way in, but regardless, just be careful around bodies of water and things like that. Notice a little bit of patchy fog over near Carr Creek Lake when I was coming through. 55 there in Whitesburg, but temperatures in the 40s in Irvin, Manchester, Hazard, again, Charleston, West Virginia, just a few other spots out there this morning. Lexington. So just remember, just maybe a little bit chilly on the way out the door this morning. Warmest spot looks to be about 58 in Monticello, it looks like, and then we've got 43 in Irvin is our chilly spot. So the out the door forecast, we're going to try to shoot for low 50s to start our day off there, about 52, and then we'll see temperatures quickly climb into the upper 70s. Sunny clouds for much of the day, but I cannot rule out a chance for a stray shower or thunderstorm near the Kentucky-Tennessee border. Sorry, Mountain Laurel fans. We may have a little bit of a down for you there today. All right, have the rest of the forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Chas?
Thanks, Brandon. State leaders held a memorial ceremony on Thursday for fallen police officers. 9 names were added to the state memorial in Richmond. Among the names, London officers Logan Medlock, who died when his cruiser was hit by a drunk driver, and Travis Hurley, who died of COVID complications, and the 3 officers who died during an ambush in Floyd County, William Petrie, Ralph Frazier, and Jacob Chaffins. Medlock's wife spoke during the ceremony and said this kind of support means everything.
If we didn't have family and if we didn't have God, we could not make it through this.
2 additional names placed on the memorial were Harlan officer Dixon Sasser, who died in 1918, and Jefferson County Deputy Crockett Riddle, who died in 1933. Thursday marked 10 years since the death of another Kentucky police officer. Jason Ellis of Bardstown was ambushed on Bluegrass Parkway in 2013. The case remains unsolved. This year, the Attorney General's office appointed a special prosecutor for the case. Shane Young is also overseeing the disappearance of Crystal Rogers and the death of Tommy Ballard, all from Nelson County. Kentucky State Police troopers and the FBI are also investigating. One nonprofit in Georgetown is doing all it can to support first responders and the Scott County Sheriff's Office after Deputy Caleb Conley was killed on Monday. The American Legion Hall opened its doors for some lunch Thursday afternoon. The hall has served lunches regularly for a while, but to do it at a time like this is crucial as it's ever been. The difficult loss of an officer tends to cause stress for first responders. Jim Woodrum is the commander of Post 24 and a retired police officer. He says places like American Legion Hall are necessary for first responders.
Someplace they can go sit down, have lunch without having to put their back to the door.
Whether it's to come meet with fellow veterans or first responders or just grab a bite to eat, the message those involved want to send is peace in the middle of a trying time for first responder communities after the death of Deputy Conley. Governor Andy Beshear says he will order flags to be lowered in honor of Deputy Conley ahead of his funeral next week. Yesterday, the governor shared his condolences to Deputy Conley's family.
Deputy Conley is a hero, and all of Kentucky is praying for his family. In the coming days, we'll lower the state flag to honor Deputy Conley. We always do it on the day that they are laid to rest, and his name will be added to our officer memorial next year. We promise to be there for them and for their families today, tomorrow, next week, next month, and in the years and decades to come.
Attorney General Daniel Cameron says he and his wife are also mourning Deputy Conley and that his family is in their prayers. A former Eastern Kentucky mayor has died after a nearly year-long battle with cancer. Lonnie Hendricks died last Friday in Florida. Hendricks was the mayor of Hyden for more than 12 years, but resigned in 2015 due to health problems. He also owned Hyden Florist for more than 30 years and ran a catering company. A private service will be held and the family is requesting donations be made to Walker Funeral Home for other families in need. Lonnie Hendricks was 67 years old. Kentucky's House of Representatives passed the Halt Fentanyl Act yesterday. It's a bill co-sponsored by Congressman Hal Rogers, and it gives law enforcement more tools in the fight against fentanyl and other drugs related to the substance. In a statement, Rogers said, quote, "Fentanyl is showing up in all our communities, impacting more families and killing more Americans than ever before. In fact, fentanyl overdoses are now the #1 cause of death for Americans between the ages of 18 and 49, outpacing cancer deaths and fatal car accidents," end quote. Although drug overdose deaths went down nationwide last year, about 75% of those deaths included fentanyl or fentanyl-related substances, which can be more than 100 times stronger than morphine. This weekend is the unofficial start to summer, and the Kentucky Blood Center says it's the start of trauma season. Officials say this is the time of year they see more accidents, and it's also a time when they see less blood donors. Eric Lindsay with Kentucky Blood Center says its blood supply right now is not the best.
Folks just don't come in. So we're trying to combat that with gift cards, and we'll kind of strategically announce those throughout the summer.
KBC says it would like to have 400 donors a day. In 2022, it saw 275 donors a day, but it says this year those numbers are trending up. We'll have our annual summer blood drive outside WYMT on Tuesday, June 6th from 3 until 6:30 p.m. Thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Coming up next, the National Weather Service makes its predictions about this year's Atlantic hurricane season and how active it will be.
And the forecast here at home doesn't look too bad to start Memorial Day weekend, but it could turn a little soggy as we get deeper into it. On the latest forecast in about 3 minutes.